What are the evidences that the other religions present? Christianity has the most scientifically proven, research-based evidence for the existence of God. Why? And not just for the existence of God, for the fact that He's the way. Jesus said He's the way. Now, one of the reasons, number one, is the resurrection. If the resurrection happened, you better believe everything He said before He resurrected. Do you see? If the resurrection happened, and there is proof that resurrection happened, right? At least over almost 500 people, according to 1 Corinthians 15, almost 500 people saw Jesus alive. And it is scientifically proven that you can't, just 7 people can never be hallucinating at the same time. It's impossible for more than 5 people to be hallucinating at the same time. 500 people saw Him live. Another thing is called the embarrassment factor. The embarrassment factor is the fact that it was a woman that declared that He was risen. That goes against the patriarchal culture of the Jewish tradition. The fact that this is perhaps the most important information in the entire canon of Scripture, that Jesus is risen from the dead. And God chose a woman to present it. He chose a woman. Reason is because if I wanted to create a conspiracy theory, I would make myself look good in that theory. If it was a woman that presented it, I would want to put a man there so that it would be more believable. Because nobody believed testimonies from women. That was why a woman was caught in adultery and they brought only the woman. I mean, how do you catch a person in adultery? That means they were two of them were there. And you conveniently leave out the man and bring the woman. So women did not have the kind of human rights that we all enjoy today as women. Back in the day, they were not considered to be on the same level as men. That's why you see, even in the scriptural culture, you would notice it, which does not go against the credibility of Scripture. It just further even proves the fact that the Scripture was written within a cultural context. Because you will see things like 5,000 men apart from women and children. Are the women and children not human beings? 5,000 men. Why? Because women were not exalted to the same level as men. So, if indeed, right, I wanted to create a conspiracy theory about the resurrection, I will not make a woman the person that told us about the resurrection. I'll make it a man. So there's another factor called the embarrassment factor, which is the fact that it was a woman that declared it first, that Jesus was risen. And that makes it less of a conspiracy and more credible. The fact that the apostles were willing to die for the truth is another proof. Another proof that the resurrection actually happened. Because someone then compares it with the other religions who are willing to terrorize and kill for their faith and say, oh, we'll die, and they will make these claims, and then they will enter into Eiffel Tower or whatever it is, or the World Trade Center, and then they will kill themselves. And you say, but people already die for their faith, and the faith is not particularly the way. So how is that different? What is different is that they don't know. They believe that is the way, so they are dying for it. But if I know He did not raise, I know. Like, I did not see it with my eyes. I know He was not raised from the dead. I can't die for it. Do you understand the difference? The apostles knew that He was raised from the dead. Any other person that dies for their religion, they don't know. They are just receiving what is handed down to them. And if they just subject their worldview and their tradition to scrutiny. There's this guy, Nabil Qureshi, was a Muslim, and he converted to Christ. And it was his friend David Wood who told him to just subject your religion to the exact same level of scrutiny that you have subjected Christianity to. And let's see where it leads. And this guy eventually became a Christian. All right? In fact, he became an apologist, like solid apologist. Because he subjected the underlying presumptions around Islam to solid empirical scrutiny. And he realized he was not standing. So at the end of the day, Christianity has the most research-based evidences for the most critical event in the entire history of our tradition, which is the resurrection. Because if the resurrection happened, that means everything Jesus said before the resurrection, it is true. Because He said, destroy this temple. He was not talking literally. He was speaking allegorically. I'll destroy this temple, and after 3 days, I'll build it up again. He was talking about resurrection. He said all of these things. He said, I'm the way, I'm the truth, I'm the life. No man comes to the Father except by me. He predicted His resurrection and executed it. That person is everything He says he is.